Hi, and welcome to the Bruce Channel. I'm Bruce, and busy week, so not quite as many items on the agenda today. But exciting news, soon an upcoming show, maybe two, probably not three out, but one or two probably. We're going to have a guest, special guest, who will tell us something I'm pretty confident you've never heard of. I never had, never knew it existed. And he knows about it. He isn't the only one. But I bet all the money I have that you haven't. Making it all just a little bit more remarkable, I've spent a lifetime in and around music, and still, I've never heard of it. So, watch for special ad hoc announcements letting you know which show it will be on. Really, it's something you've never known of. All right. Some newsy things in no particular order. They're too new for in-depth discussion. Michael Cohen, the president's personal lawyer, his office, and two residents were raided under a search warrant early on Monday morning. He, who must not be named, complained that client lawyer confidentially had been breached, but as numerous legal experts explain, no, not if the lawyer was involved in criminal activities, and that's what they seek to pursue. So we'll have to see where it goes. Maybe nowhere, maybe somewhere. Friday, excerpts of former FBI Director James Comey's new book, which hits bookshelves on Tuesday. Excerpts were released. Early orders for the book have already topped 250,000. The most cited, discussed, of course, the infamous, never actually shown to be in existence, the P tapes. According to Comey, the press asked him to try and make the Steele dossier go away, and with it the P tapes. On and on, sentence after sentence. But the obvious question, if it never happened, then there's no P tape. And if it never happened, then why would he obsess about it? In a TV interview over a year ago, he said if such a tape came out, he'd be embarrassed. Why would you even say that? If it didn't happen, there's nothing there. So I read a very lucid article about the subject. It was published in New York Magazine, not the New Yorker, New York Magazine, and you can find it online. The name of it, I'm a Believer, and you should be too. One of the most interesting items I learned was, in the initial denials of the Steele dossier, Michael Cohen, the same one, the lawyer, was said to have traveled to Prague, but it was denied. No, he didn't go there. His passport showed no stamp from the Czech Republic. But apparently, Robert Mueller has evidence that Cohen traveled to Germany at the time and then entered the Czech Republic, thereby avoiding the need for the stamp. You can read the whole article. If so inclined, just Google it. Is it true? We'll see. All right, way too soon for the fallout to be projected. The president ordered missile strikes in Syria, along with help from France and Great Britain. Too soon to know very much, but it certainly will bear a lot more scrutiny. Okay, last week I spoke of some fun football fight songs I'd learned of, the fight songs for the Saskatchewan Roughriders of the Canadian Football League. Now, I don't know a lot about the Canadian Football League, even though I follow football. I know that the Canadian game has 3 downs instead of 4. I know the field is longer and wider. In the middle of his pro career, Heisman Trophy Doug Flutie played in the CFL, while Hall of Fame quarterback Warren Moon began his career up north. Now, I know they play June through November because it's way cold way up north. I know they have 2 divisions, the East and the West, and I know the conference champs play for the Grey Cup, which is kind of like our Super Bowl. But as I researched the CFL for last week's show, I found some things that are astonishing, really. For only a few years, 1993, 94, 95, those 3 seasons, the CFL had teams in the U.S. Yeah. The first was 1993. The league brought in the Sacramento Gold Miners. Apparently, it was enough of a success because the following year they added the Las Vegas Posse, the Baltimore Stallions, and the Shreveport Pirates. The following year, they added the Birmingham Barracudas and the Memphis Mad Dogs. And all of the U.S. teams then formed a new division, the South Division. And that same season, the original team, Sacramento, they moved to San Antonio and became the Texans. I never knew any of this. Really? The CFL was playing games in the U.S.? Also in 1995, the Baltimore Stallions won the Grey Cup. That's the only time a non-Canadian team did so. But that was all she wrote. Most of the teams weren't terribly viable, with the exception being the Stallions. So the American experiment ended 1996. The Stallions moved and became the Montreal Alouettes. But it was a wow moment. I know a little about football, and I knew nothing about that.
Hey, let me tell you about my book, Shrink. Or wait, I can let others do it.
All right, welcome back. Remember, you can watch all of our previous episodes on our Facebook page or at tinyurl.com/Bruce channel. If you go there, you can subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your friends to subscribe. You can write to us at the Bruce channel at yahoo.com. Oh yeah, one more word about football. It's now less than 2 weeks until the NFL holds its annual draft, and the excitement it's all over the place. I've said before, no sports league in the entire world is as good as keeping interest high even in the off season. There are mock drafts all over the place, and I admit the Browns were so bad last season that they are in a terrific position. They have the number 1 pick, the number 4 pick. That high, both should become stars. And 3 picks in the second round. Second round often become stars. I know whom I'd like to see them pick, but they never do what I want them to do. I offer this merely for your consideration. They never do what I want them to do, when for nearly 2 decades they have been super stinky lousy. So, post hoc, ergo propter hoc? Just saying. All right, purely by coincidence, I want to talk about some movies I saw this week. The coincidence is that I saw them in the same week. Early in the week, I finally got to see the 2017 remake of Murder on the Orient Express. Sometimes with remakes, I question whether it should even have been done, whether the effort should have been made. Now, were any of the later Mutiny on the Bounties better than the original? Certainly Charles Laughton cannot be surpassed as Captain Bligh, but both Trevor Howard and Anthony Hopkins, formidable actors, so I'm good with that. Now, sometimes it's okay to do a remake. I can appreciate Laughton in the old black and white, but, technology advances. Sound gets clearer, then it gets stereo. It's like that with the Orient Express. The original had Albert Finney as Hercule Poirot. He was great. The new one, Kenneth Branagh, who also directed. There are some incredibly good actors out there, but he may be the best. I mean, among that upper tier, I don't know. But he could be the choice. Certainly his range is stunning. Stunning. All right, the rest of the cast, which included Johnny Depp, Michelle Pfeiffer, Dame Judi Dench, they all held their own. But it was the visuals, moving through the mountains at night. Think of the grain in the original. When that was shot, mid-70s? No matter how good it was, the technology wasn't there, it cannot be as crisp as when shot in 4K. So a big thumbs up. All right, then I watched 2 films, and this is the coincidence. I watched a sleeper film. It was in my queue. I'd forgotten about it. When it arrived, I didn't even recognize it. The cast is modest. Not totally unknown. Academy Award winner F. Murray Abraham is the most recognizable name. Tony Goldwyn, best known for Ghost, plays the title character. Stacey Edwards has a small but crucial role, and perhaps stealing the show was Kurt Fuller. Essentially, it is the story of a man, Joshua, who comes to a small Alabama town and he changes it. He simply does it by being nice to people, which of course is my mantra. He's a woodcarver. The senior priest in the Catholic Church, played by Abraham, commissions him to carve a statue of St. Peter. But there's tension between the two almost from the get-go. He helps rebuild the Baptist church, which had been destroyed by a storm the previous year. He helps a young man with guitar. He helps the junior priest, played by Kurt Fuller, to find confidence in himself. Joshua never brags, but the townsfolk know that he's different. Abraham's priest is very suspicious of Joshua's motives. He even asks, "When has anyone done all these good things without wanting something in return?" It was produced by a Christian organization, but it doesn't promote evangelicalism, doesn't promote any particular faith. It merely promotes being good to one another. And it has an ending. I'll leave that alone. It was a sleeper. It only earned about $1.5 million. I think the most theaters it was ever in at one time was 43. All right. The message I want to give you is that I did not feel the time spent watching it was wasted. The third movie was just on the heels of that. I was out in the car, small errand. I heard about a Netflix thing that's coming out. I heard it discussed, sounded interesting, so streams. I watched it. Another film about crisis of Christian faith. It's called Come Sunday. The most notable name in it is Danny Glover, but his is a small role. Martin Sheen plays Oral Roberts. Wait, Oral Roberts? Yeah, it's based on a true story. The true story of Bishop Carlton Pearson, a black cleric who's developed a large church, black and white, in his congregation, a television ministry, all with the help of his mentor, Oral Roberts. But then, and similarly to Joshua, his message changes a bit. Be good, be nice, but without the fire and brimstone, which caused breaches to develop. In another thumbs up called Come Sunday. All right, before we go, I found a couple of terrific images. Not elusive, but elusive images. Look at this first one. When I first saw it, I saw white columns, that's all. Wait, there are silhouettes of people. No, they're columns. No, they're people. No, they're columns. Well, you decide. This one is even trickier. Two old people. Wait. Two people in a sombrero, one's playing guitar, and oh my, look, in the background, a woman in an alcove. Pretty cool. Creativity knows no bounds. All right, upcoming this week. Well, there's tax day. But I love April 16th. It is Save the Elephant Day every year. Who can disagree with that? It is Eggs Benedict Day. What's not to like? And it's also Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. April 18th is Banana Day. There is no mention of how you should enjoy your bananas, so I'm getting a blender and adding rum. The 19th is Garlic Day. Coincidentally, it is also Where Have All the Vampires Gone Day. Where have all the vampires gone? Long time paying. Saturday is Chocolate Covered Cashews Day. Who doesn't like cashews? Who doesn't like chocolate? Oh, and not because it's the 21st, but the third Saturday in April is always Husband Appreciation Day, which means I have less than a week to get qualified. But if I do, maybe she'll give me chocolate-covered cashews. Enjoy all the days of the week. May your upcoming chocolate be the best you've ever had.